Good afternoon. Good afternoon, friends, colleagues, seniors, and juniors. I hope all of you are fine. I'm here, I'm back after a while. Actually, I've been doing a little research on various topics of human resource management. And as you all know, my friends, research takes time and requires patience. So my focus was on actually HRM various topics. That's why I took some time off. But I hope everyone is fine and good afternoon all. Here I am back and today's topic is key challenges and barriers of small enterprises, HRM perspective. I repeat, key challenges and barriers of small enterprises, HRM perspective. The focus of this episode is on trying to discover the core barriers that must be addressed to strengthen the small enterprises or the small enterprise sector from an HRM perspective. I'm not taking into account finance and accounts, quality, production, operations. I'm taking into consideration only issues related to human resource management that can strengthen the small enterprise sectors of each country. That's all I'm doing. So, and I assume if the small enterprise can be strengthened, the purchasing capacity of the general masses is likely to increase. This is my assumption. I repeat my assumption. I assume if the small enterprise can be strengthened, the purchasing capacity of the general masses is likely to increase. So now, what can our profession do for the greater interest of the society? That's my major concern in this episode. Key challenges. Three main concepts. I'll be talking about the challenges and barriers later on, but there are three associated concepts which need clarification from my perspective. Human resources, human capital, and purchasing capacity increase. Human capital, or let's start from human resource. Human resource is the working population of a country who are capable to contribute to the overall growth of the country and has the intention to do so in exchange for a better quality of life. I repeat, human resources is the working population who have the capability to contribute to the overall economy of a country and are willing to do so in exchange for a better living. The human resource, this human resource that I'm talking about needs to be transformed to human capital. Here, the intervention of the state is essential to create a roadmap to transform the human resources into human capital. What does human capital comprise of? It comprises of knowledge, skills, experience, competence, commitment, motivation, trust, confidence, attitude, structured and unstructured learning. Human capital is about a productive workforce, a workforce with- that is happy. Here, what does happiness mean that I'm talking of referring to? Happiness comprises of positive thinking and positive relationships within the workplace, meaning people seek inner meaning of something, well-being, positive results, an environment which is inspiring, at the same time is fair and non-discriminatory, good management and courteous communication. All these accompanied with the concept of dignity, respect, and human capital. Human rights. That's what I call happiness is about. Happiness. In fact, the human capital that I'm talking about must be productive and happy. In order to be productive, you need the skills, knowledge, temperament, attitude, competent and motivation. And to be happy, you need a positive thinking, a positive relationship with all, a meaning, an inner meaning of what I'm doing, well-being, positive results. Remember, positive results is motivating and brings happiness. An inspiring environment where there is good management, fair and justice within the organization, and all are treated with dignity, respect, and human rights. That's all I'm saying. That's what brings happiness to an employee within an organization. And I believe these elements contribute to the growth of the wealth of the company and society at large. Remember the word positive results. Positive results can make a person and will make a person happy. At the same time, positive thinking and positive relationships. Also, employee must understand the inner meaning of what he or she is doing. Well-being, good governance, good management, courteous communication, an inspiring environment and an environment which is just. All these contribute or may contribute to the concept of happiness within an enterprise. And if you are not happy, it may have an impact on your being a human capital, from my perspective. So far, I've taken the liberty to discuss a few concepts, a few associated concepts related to barriers of small enterprise sector. Now, coming to the core barriers, I've identified 6 barriers for the small enterprises to succeed. Number 1 barrier is confidence. Remember, low confidence must be tackled. Number 2, Trust. Remember, my colleagues, my friends, low trust can be damaging for the organization. Number 3, an inspiring work environment. Remember, non-inspiring work environment can be counterproductive for an organization. It is in fact, if the work environment is non-inspiring, that itself can cause a barrier to progression. Some of the common barriers of confidence. Confidence doesn't come in vacuum. There might be some reasons for a person not being confident. The top management must realize and tackle these issues. What could be the issues? Lack of knowledge, lack of skills, lack of motivation, mistrust in information, low trust, tension and confusion, not knowing what to do, when to do, why to do, reluctant to learn, and the top management is not really supporting the cause of learning, etc. All these things can actually make a person less confident than he or she really thinks. Obviously, just think about it. Low confidence is about lack of knowledge, lack of skills, lack of information, mistrust in information, low trust, tension and confusion, not knowing what to do, when to do, why to do, reluctant to learn, and at the same time, the top management is really not supporting the cause of learning. And there might be other reasons. Also, lack of taking time for preparation can also lead to low confidence. If you're not prepared, your confidence may be low. Not maybe, it will be low. Also remember, my friends, my dear colleagues, overconfidence can spoil confidence. I repeat, overconfidence can spoil confidence at times. Take, for example, you're driving a car and you've had 10 Fosters. It's just a hypothetical situation. And you're more or less drunk, but you're overconfident. You know what to do. My friends, you may be overconfident, but at the same time, you must realize when you're drunk or you're not feeling well after 10 pints of Fosters or Guinness, or just say whatever it is, it doesn't matter really. You're not feeling well. Your measurement when you're driving, you're always measuring. Your measurement may be impaired. At times, you may brake, but you will not have knowledge of your braking time. We brake, that doesn't mean your car is stopping. Your car has stopped. No, there is a thing called braking time, also into consideration. All these things really matter when you're driving and when you're drunk or half drunk by taking 10 Fosters. This is just an example. So overconfidence can spoil your confidence at times. And those who do not drink, my friends, with due respect, I apologize for the example. It just came to my mind, that's all. Higher confidence leads to higher productivity. That's what I assume. I can do this or that. I can do this or that. That's what confidence is about. Confidence is the inner strength to do something. The confidence is based on knowledge and the ability to apply the knowledge to a particular situation. Knowledge can be divided into three parts: personal knowledge, procedural knowledge, and propositional knowledge. Personal knowledge is about knowledge acquired through a process of familiarization, because I know it. That's how I've learned. That's what I call personal knowledge, which is through familiarization. Procedural knowledge is about what to do and knowing the sequence. And propositional knowledge is about facts. So, what could be the constituent elements of confidence? Knowledge, skills, and information. Trusting the information, having belief in the knowledge, skills, and information, positive attitude. Education and training can also contribute to a confident small enterprise. Leadership and governance, ethical approach to business, and an overall inspiring environment which is uplifting. The second point is trust. Remember, I've spoken about confidence as a barrier of small enterprises that must be tackled. Now I'm talking about trust. Trust is the belief in a set of relationships between the truster and a trustee to achieve a favorable result. Basically, trust comprises of two players: truster who gives the trust, trustee who receives the trust. Why? To achieve a positive result for both. Trust goes through a system: input, process, and output. Input: you must have knowledge which may be limited. In order to trust somebody or trust something, you must have knowledge, but that knowledge may be limited. You must clarify expectations. You must have the ability. If I accept a trust, I must have the ability to deliver. Competence, interest. There must be some interest when I accept a trust. Integrity, relational background is very important. When you're trusting somebody, I've taken into consideration the history of the person. Just go to a mortgage. If you visit a mortgage advisor, first thing what he'll do is he will try to find out facts, and then he will proceed. Why does he or she want to establish facts? To create the trust. That's the reason why client information is very important for a mortgage advisor. Then comes the question of conversion. For the trust to be transferred into trustworthiness, it is through credibility, references and verification. My friend, it's easy to trust somebody, but remember, think about trusting somebody without understanding his credibility or her credibility, without taking any references, without any verification. You're trusting somebody, that is blind trust. My friends, my colleagues, my juniors, my seniors, be aware of blind trust in the workplace. Output, this is the desired state of expectations and leading to commitment, loyalty, and a positive trust environment. My third point is a positive and inspiring environment. Here we are talking about political stability, economic growth, rule of law within the country. Sorry, that's what I call a positive environment. Rule of law within the country, economic growth, and at the same time, political stability can contribute. And these are actually one of the barriers for a small enterprise. The morale of the population, I'll also have to take into consideration the morale of the population. Essentials within the purchasing capacity of the general masses. The general masses can purchase the essentials. Low unemployment, good governance of small enterprises, training and education is available, increase in GDP, increase in gross domestic products. Number 4, training and skills development. This is an absolute precondition to build a successful small enterprise culture. And to me, this goes without any doubt. When I use the term development, I mean a gradual process in contrast to a radical or sudden approach. Learning must take place in a gradual pace. Learning must be well structured. And also, I have to say, positive government initiatives is also essential. Remember the great Confucius saying thousands of years ago. This great philosopher said, he's a Chinese philosopher, Confucius. He said something about learning, which is, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. What a great philosopher this person was. And to me, it makes complete sense. I repeat, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. This is one of the learning principles on which learning theorists like Kolb have taken this theory further. What a great way of learning. I do and I understand. Number 5 is corporate governance. This is a relatively new branch of knowledge. It seems to be a topic of discussion only when the times get rough. Corporate governance is a system to run the organization smoothly and smoothly as possible, taking into account policies, procedures, and systems, structure, and most important, the focus also is on accountability and transparency. If I get the time, I'll be talking about corporate governance in great length. Corporate governance has also some notable theories. For example, the agency theory between owner and the management, stakeholder theory, all who have an interest. Stewardship theory is about leadership. Transactional cost economies, and there are many other theories. The two top theories which I can relate to are the agency theory and the stakeholder theory related to corporate governance. The four principles of corporate governance: transparency, which means availability of information to all the relevant persons; accountability, nobody is above law and nobody should have absolute power. That's what I call accountability. Responsibility, each has a role to play. I have a role to play, so do you have a role to play. Fairness, which is about ethics within the organization. So there are four basic principles of corporate governance: transparency, accountability, responsibility, and ethics. Risk taking. Risk taking is a mentality of much significance. This mental attitude has a positive impact on the growth of small enterprises. Risk today is complex and enough to cause damage. Risk is uncertainty, regardless of degree which can cause the damage. It is uncertainty. Risk is a danger. We have to always think about the danger. What are the constituent elements of risk? Risk is a danger. Risk is a threat with a negative impact. Risk is about uncertainty. Risk is also about having limited knowledge. Some risks are measurable. Risks can be viewed also as a challenge. The top management cannot take risk lightly. There's no scope to ignore the issue of risk. We always have to think of risk, which is not really a negative mentality, but I would say it is a constructive mentality. And the most important question related to risks are which risks to reduce, which risks to eliminate, which risks to take, and which risks to exploit. To conclude, from my understanding, growth of small enterprises means we have to take into consideration the confidence point of view. There is enough confidence among the workforce. The word is confidence. The level of trust is high. The overall environment is inspiring and uplifting. Enough training and learning is around. Corporate governance is serving the greater interests. Every step is well calculated in terms of risks. But business is always very complex. Even with the existence of all these elements, can I say boldly, can success really be ensured? Taking all these elements positively, nurtured, installed, can I guarantee success? The question is no. External forces play also a very, very significant part. Having said so, I have to admit all the above mentioned factors present or factors should be present, and all the above factors are always interdependent on each other. But remember, PESTLE, PESTLE, an abbreviation which all business learners will have to take into account and human resource professionals will have to take into account. We have got all these factors that I mentioned are in place, but also I have taken into consideration the external factors. And when I'm talking about external factors, I'm talking about PESTLE, political, economic, social, technological, environmental, PEST, and law. Law stands for law. Just try to find it out. You'll find out. It's one of those very common tools, PESTLE. So, my friends, this is all I have to say for today. And this is about small enterprises. From my perspective, how to build a small enterprise sector. And to me, small enterprise sector is extremely important for the overall GDP of a country. And that's why I've taken the time and patience to study this sector. There might be other points, but so far, the points that I've said, think about those points. God bless all. Stay well wherever you are. I'm going to meet you all very soon with another very interesting topic. For the time being, stay well wherever you are.